Welcome to the Bricks and Banner podcast, where real estate meets real talk. Join us as we break down the market, share insider stories, and keep things real with a bit of fun along the way.
Welcome back to another episode of the Bricks and Banter podcast. We are here for part 2 with Jay Asher. Scott, take it away.
How you doing, Jay?
Well, you haven't kicked me out, so
Yeah,
Not yet.
very well.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So just before we came on air, we were talking a little bit about the episode, and we're going to make this one personal.
Yes, we are
Very
personal.
personal.
Very
Yeah.
personal.
Get ready.
Personal only in the fact that we're talking about personal investment properties. Correct. So this would be someone like myself or someone like Dylan that's acquired a property and converted it to a legal 2 unit or just a legal single unit property. So we just wanted to get in and talk about some of the coverages in there, because I think there's a pretty big gap in the understanding of insuring a property such as this, because there's a lot of nuances that go with it. Acquiring the property, relatively easy. Acquiring the permits, again, relatively easy to convert. Everybody kind of knows about construction. Where we all seem to fall down is insurance.
Yep. And I think if anybody listened to our very first episodes with Jay, which were last year, or our one prior to this, you'll see that, as we get into these conversations, they're very off the cuff, but there'll be a lot of, nuances and a lot of things that come out that you really, truly would not have thought about. So yeah, Jay, we're excited to have you here, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is, it's interesting because everybody has an ambition to have multiple properties and, put properties into an income generating or a positive cash flow, as they call it. Eventually, a few years down the line, when you retire, you've got a good income going on, or the property's appreciated in value and you build a little nest egg. Mm-hmm. But you also need to understand how to protect that little investment of yours, because it's not easy to buy a property. No. Number one, it's not easy to maintain it.
It's not getting easier.
Exactly. And then you need to make sure you've got proper coverage, especially in last 5 years, the industry has evolved quite a bit.
Yeah. And when you say it's evolved, it's the insurance side of it that's involved, not so much the acquisition side of it.
No,
correct?
Acquisitions are fine, but the products of insurance have changed a little bit from the traditional landscape.
Okay.
I don't think 10 years ago you would find a student rental being a very common thing in the market.
Yeah,
it
true.
wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you see, student rentals are becoming more and more common.
Okay.
You get a 4-bedroom home plus a finished basement. That brings it to about 6 bedrooms. People put 6-7 kids in there. They shared the facilities and off they go. There's a good, decent money coming out. The mortgage is getting paid and so on and so forth. So you need to have a policy that actually reflects off that.
Okay.
If you haven't disclosed this to your broker, you could be, it's a rude awakening, if I may say so, at the time of claim.
So what you're saying then is this is just not your typical home policy that you would go out and put on a property?
No, it will be considered specifically, it will be called the student rental.
Okay.
And not all companies do them. There are specific companies in the market that will touch on this risk. And if you haven't disclosed properly, you are basically, it'll be very easy for an insurance company to deny your claim and say, well, we didn't know that you're renting it to the students.
Okay. So does that fall into the category of fraud or no?
No, it's more of a misrepresentation of the risk. You're not, it could be intentional, it could be unintentional. Some people say, it's fine. I don't have to tell them what you do. If you unintentionally did it, you still did it. Like, it's still, the risk is not exposed or the information of the risk is not shared properly.
Okay.
So what I would suggest to all investment property owner is, if you make any changes to your rental in the building, make sure you connect with your broker quickly. Let them know what it is. Maybe you're insured through a broker, maybe you're insured through a direct company where you call into the call center and let them know. And they will be very happy to immediately action it. If you tell them that your house has now gone from a single family rental to a student rental, you'd be surprised how quickly you're going to get a registered letter of cancellation saying the risk does not qualify to be with us. That just means that, yes, you need to go find the right policy. It's
Yeah.
not the end of the world.
This won't work.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically.
In the same way, if you're insured through a broker and it's insured as a student rental, and now you've changed it to a single family dwelling, let them know.
Yeah.
Because that will impact your premium. That will impact the kind of policy you need, the kind of wordings that should be attached to the policy.
Yeah. Does that, where would that affect you and I? Like someone that would go from student housing to maybe a legal duplex?
Yep.
So someone has a walkout basement. I think you have clients that have purchased that, correct?
Yeah. Over the years, I've had a couple like that. It's funny, every time, like, as Jay's speaking, I can see your gears going, but I can feel mine moving. So like my brain, I feel like I constantly want to ask questions onto it. But I think for us, it's very much just kind of like you said, when the use changes. So for us, it would probably be often like, maybe something turning into a student rental, or going the opposite way.
Going opposite way,
yeah. But it sounds like the major implications would be if you were going from like single family into student, they're going to say, see you later. But if you're going from student to single family,
they will
say it might be a little bit easier.
No, they'll still need another policy.
Yeah,
okay. It might be actually to your advantage, because if you are, everybody has, let's say the one who's buying an investment home already has a home, so you have a policy attached to your home and auto together. Now, if you're going from a student rental to a single family, you might be able to take that property and add it onto your existing policy.
Yeah, because the risk is different.
And the company that insures your home will be able to insure 2, maybe 3 investment properties, depending on the company to company, but most of them will cap out at 3. Yeah. And then those are insured as a rental property. Now, it could be a single family or a dual family, as long as the units are separated. They have their own entrance, they have their own kitchen, they have their own bathroom. So no facilities are shared except for the laundry. Laundry is an exception.
Okay.
Because you can't have, multiple laundry machines and stuff. You don't have, but you have one space that is a laundry. Both the tenants share it. Fair enough. There's no concern with it, but they do have their own entrance and own kitchen and own bathrooms.
Okay. Right. And one of the things that you've touched on or you've mentioned is that a private residence that's been converted to a legal duplex or student housing is vastly different than a commercial rental property.
Yes.
And by commercial rental property, I just mean like your big apartment buildings, like your 3 and 4 story, 5 story, 12 story apartment buildings. They're vastly different, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yes, they are. Also, however, on the same note, I will touch upon that some people buy this investment properties in the company name. So it's a holding company, and you register the company, the house in the company name. Now, those will fall in the commercial category. They will need, so every time there is a corporation as an owner, the policy requires a commercial general liability in order to protect the corporation. When the property is in personal name, you need a personal liability to protect the person, right? So whenever that's the case, again, make sure your what's on title is informed to the insurance broker so that they can do a proper policy for you. Okay,
so walk me through this then. So Dylan buys his own property and says, okay, I'm going to convert this to a legal 2-unit property, right? But he purchases it in his own name, but then decides somewhere down through the process, he goes, well, I'm going to put it in DC Holdings Investments or whatever you've called your corporation.
I like DC Holdings.
I like that too.
Right. So then what are the implications then for Dylan?
Dylan would need a separate policy in the name of DC Holdings to cover that property.
Okay.
Let's say, so in the original situation, Dylan bought a property. It's a legal 2 units and it's rented to 2 families. It's insured. It's added on his current policy where his home is.
Okay.
So now the title says Dylan Cherry. The policy says Dylan, and then it's all on the same policy. Everything's fine. But now the title changes.
Okay.
For the investment property, goes in DC Investments. DC Investments need to hold the property. A simple rule of insurance, if you put this, this is amazing. I learned it on day 1 when I got into this industry.
Yeah.
You can only insure what you own.
Okay.
Physically. Yeah. On paper.
Makes sense.
Very simple. Yeah. So if a property is owned by DC Investment can insure it. Dylan cannot.
Okay.
Yeah, that's easy.
Right? Very simple. Your dad owns the car. You can't put it on your policy. Your
Right.
dad has to put a policy because he owns the car. So
Yeah.
anything you own or anything your company owns has to be insured under the same name. The title name and the insurance policy name should always match in order for it to be accurately insured.
What happens if you don't?
It could become challenging depending on the circumstances.
Okay.
There is obviously the look at what happened and how this transpired, and did the client intentionally do it or unintentionally do it, or it was the broker that assumed it, whatever the case may be. They'll look through it, and it will come out at the time of claim, and then it will be dealt with accordingly. However, if the risk type, when I say the exposure, so if let me articulate this in some different way. Let's say Dylan is the only owner of DC Investment. There's no other owners of DC Investment. He's the only director on there.
Okay.
And it's rented to 2 single families. But Dylan never moved that policy from his personal over to the company name. It could become questionable. Dylan can say, well, I didn't know. I didn't know what to do, so I just continued here. Did you inform your broker? No, I didn't. Okay, it'll be looked at what's the situation. So, so what is the house rented for this and that? And it's okay, everything is still the same. It's just the ownership. He's the single owner. Company will say, well, we're going to handle this, but you need to insure this somewhere else. We can't continue to insure it. Again, it all depends on the company and what the circumstances are at that point. Now, exact same scenario. It's now rented to students and it's moved to DC Investments.
Yeah.
That's a big no. Because the risk changed from single family to students, and Dylan did not inform the broker. Broker did not inform the company.
Okay.
So now the risk has changed. This is where we were having another conversation, material change in risk.
Okay.
Anytime you have a change in the risk or how you are using the property, that needs to be informed in order to make sure that it's documented. And if it needs to be changed over to another company because it doesn't fit the guidelines, make sure that happens. So whenever you make a change to the usage of the property, let it be commercial, let it be residential, doesn't matter. When the usage is changed, you need to inform your company because the current policy may be null and void by that.
Okay.
It's good information.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot, like as you mentioned, a lot of people trying to build wealth, do acquire rental properties or investment properties, either turnkey or they convert them themselves. And I think we've both done that. I mean, I've done it personally and converted it personally. But I mean, I think you've had clients that have
I haven't done it personally yet, but I've helped clients with it too.
Yeah, because it's a lot of work.
Tons of work
to get there, but
so much to follow.
Again, we fall into this category of it's probably the least discussed component about acquiring a property with the intention of creating or building wealth or building whatever it is that you're doing by creating a legal 2-unit triplex, whatever that is. The insurance component never comes up.
No.
Yeah, like ever. Yeah.
I mean,
hardly ever. Yeah.
I mean, I don't really talk about it a lot with people. And I mean, maybe it should be within our purview to say, hey, again, need to call Jay.
Yeah. The only time I really worry about insurance in general, like I said earlier, is just if it's like an older home or if there's something in it that makes you like question, like maybe it's a wood burning appliance or something, just something that makes me think about it. Right. But if it's just a standard home that nothing is really out of the ordinary, it doesn't come up as often as it should really. Like,
yeah, I want to throw one out at Jay. What if you have a house that you acquire with a wood burning fireplace, aluminum wiring, galvanized piping that you want to convert to a legal 2-unit?
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You're not leaving anything out.
Hit me with everything.
So let's start with one step by step. Okay. Number one, wood burning fireplace.
Yeah.
Now, is the chimney has a lining in there?
Yeah.
When was the lining replaced? These are all the questions that your new buyer, that me, will have to answer to my broker, because my broker will have to answer to the company.
Yeah.
Depending on how old is the lining, depending on when was the last time the chimney serviced. Insurance companies don't have a problem with wood burning fireplace. They have a problem with the maintenance of that. If it's not maintained properly, there's a problem.
Okay.
So all of those will be looked at. Aluminum wiring, as you say, that, there's the ESA approval available. So there are companies that will look at it and say, hey, yeah, that's fine. You got aluminum wiring, but do you have an approval? Can you get an electrical inspection done?
Mhm.
Will it pass that?
Okay.
If that happens, again, there's a hope. So you're checking off one by one items.
Okay.
Right? Galvanized steel, open piping, nobody likes it. You'll need to replace it.
Yeah.
You can either work with the current landlord and say, hey, listen, I will pay for it. It's all done. I will pay for it. Can I please get the work done before I move in?
Okay.
Or ask the insurance company based on, now you also need a nice, competent broker to be able to do that, because if the broker is not taking this further in the right way, it could get lost very quickly.
Okay.
You can approach the company with the fact that, hey, listen, these are my estimates. These are my contractors that are coming and do it. And contractors said about 15 days to fix this.
Yep.
So now the insurance company says, okay, there will be an underwriter that will say, okay, well, that's great. Yeah, you're getting all of this done, and this will be done in 15 days. We'll flag the policy for 15 days. And if it's not available, we'll cancel it by a registered letter.
Okay.
They'll get off risk after that. So there's ways to mitigate this challenge when it comes up.
Okay.
It's not that it's not insured. It may go on actual cash value, as we discussed on the previous podcast.
Yes.
May not have replacement cost, maybe temporarily on actual cash value until everything is done.
Yeah.
And then it moves into replacement cost.
Okay.
So
Right?
that's one thing I want to add too. So in that case, they would give you a window, like a grace
Again,
period.
it's
to
all
take care of
it's
the
all on
things.
case to case basis.
Yeah,
I won't say they will or will not. They may or may not.
Yeah.
But there's always a way around. There's always let's say, Jay, you know what? You need to go get a policy from one of the high risk markets. I'll get that policy for you for 3 months. Let's get everything done, and then we'll move it to the regular market.
Okay.
That's another way to do it.
See, now that's another good point.
That's why I said it.
That's not something I knew about, right?
Yeah.
I figured once you went down this avenue,
Yeah.
you were pigeonholed into that.
Nope.
I didn't realize that if you sat down with your
and
broker.
From my experience too, though, right? Like you've probably dealt with it for sure, where whether it's a wet certification you're waiting for, or maybe it's aluminum wiring, you need the ESA. Like a lot of the companies will give you a grace period. They'll say, as long as it's done by this point, you're good to go. Or if you're not using the wood burning, then that's okay too. But if you fire it up and it, the flue catches fire or something.
That will not fly. I'm not using it, will not fly.
Yeah. Okay.
Will not fly.
Yeah, because I guess
Because we're not
I've
standing
seen that
out there
before,
outside your door to see whether you're bringing a bag of wood in the house or not.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I've seen that before, though, where they...
It was, but they're like,
change
no,
maybe.
we're not going to look at that anymore.
Well, and it's easy enough now for like a fire marshal to go in and go, yeah, the cause of the fire was.
Yeah, you could find out immediately.
Yeah, I would just love to hear that conversation of going, I'm not using it.
Yeah.
And you have a fire in your house, and fire marshal comes in and says,
You used it.
it caused because of the fireplace.
Yeah.
And
The one that you were not using.
Yeah,
exactly.
and now I got to call my insurance broker and go, remember that fireplace I wasn't
I
using?
didn't use
I'm
it.
still not using it.
But
It
got
did,
something to
it
tell
did
you.
do the
Weird
fire.
thing happened. My living room caught on fire.
That damn dog,
Yeah, people have to be careful. Like,
Yeah.
don't cut corners on
worth
investments.
it.
Don't cut corners when you're taking risk of
Yeah.
getting a mortgage, buying a house. Yes, money's tight. Yes, money's not easy, and I agree to all of that sentiment.
Yeah.
But what are you risking for what money?
Yeah.
Put that in perspective and see, is it even worth it?
Yeah. Well, I think, and again, this is why we have you on, is because there's such a misunderstanding, I think, that's out there. And I'll lump myself into that. I'm not sitting here going, I'm brilliant at, I understand each and every component about doing this.
Yeah.
But it's why we have Jay in here, because my level of understanding is here, right? And there's an infinite amount of information that's available to you.
The same goes for us. We know what we know. I mean, there are times that we learn, like the property you decided that I'm going to buy with all these goodies.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think
it's a good buy, Jay.
I know it's a great buy, but I
It's
don't
a
think
great
it's like the plaza in Belleville. It's a great price, but do I really want to buy that?
Yeah. It comes with its own set of risks,
Yeah,
right?
so,
if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
And as I always say, yes, price is a factor, but don't drive your decision based on it. Look at other things that can become challenging over the course of years that while you live in that house. And then make a decision based on that. Maybe spending a $50,000 more now would be a smarter idea over 10 years down the line, because you won't have to worry about all these things which are deteriorating and which will need replacement. And it's going to cost big money at that time to do it.
So my question to Dylan is, do you look then at turnkey? I'm acquiring this. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to invest any money. Or are you acquiring the property where I can convert it and I'm in control of everything?
I think it would be case by case for me personally,
Yeah.
because I think I would look at it exactly how Jay's talked about it, right? Like I'd be seeing like, okay, what are my red flags that are here and what do I have to take care of, in order to do what I want to do with it. And I think it would come probably down to the price, like what makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
For me personally, because I know some people are very much like turnkey, buy it, done, easy.
Yeah.
Others are way the opposite where they want to do it themselves. They want to do all these improvements. I kind of fall in the middle of both of that, I think. So I would gauge
that's where I think it's, I'm always key to learn this stuff.
Yeah. But I would say, like, sorry to cut you there, I would probably really question galvanized piping and like things that like, are going to be costly and like a pain to get done, right? Because a lot of these things like asbestos, we haven't talked about once, like that's another thing, right? A lot of homes have, like I've seen it recently in a place. It's in a little corner, and my client bought the house and he had no problem with it because he's construction. He knows how to deal with it.
Exactly.
But he's
if you know it's a
he's like, it's
story.
never going to be touched. It's going to be completely contained. He's like, it's one small section that's wrapping a pipe, and he's like, it's no worry. Like, so
and that's the thing is,
mitigate.
Your understanding of asbestos, right? And if it is a small thing, you shouldn't be doing it, but you don't need to bring in an abatement company
and that's the thing,
to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to get the hazmat.
Well, the other thing people don't think, and that is things that pop up every now and then when we're talking to the client, is the wet basements.
Yeah.
That's a thing. If the property's old and if the basement's getting wet every now and then, there's an expense for you to waterproof it properly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're in for a surprise. You not knowing unknowingly, if you don't have that knowledge, and if you don't have a realtor that can spot the watermarks in the basement and say, we need to look at it, because you may be going in a nice, beautiful summer day to look at the house.
Yeah, exactly.
And come fall, he's like, what the?
Yeah, I had that
what
recently.
just happened?
So
right?
the same property. As soon as we walked up to it at our showing, I had a feeling like, just looking, the driveway wasn't paved; it was just gravel. Like there was like flower beds up against the house, over 100 years old. And as soon as the inspector walked up, he went, "I bet you that those walls are going to look different than that wall." And we went down to the basement, and you could see it. Like, so right where they had a big slab for the front porch and like a roof that kind of like pushed the water to a certain point, the slab was completely like perfect. Nothing wrong with it. The other sides, you could see evidence that it had seeped, right? Yeah. But the point is, my client went in and he needed, like, before we made the offer, he said to himself, like, I'm going to do a perimeter trench. I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to waterproof this whole basement because it's probably needing it. Inspector was like, to be honest with you, man, like, fix the grading, get that driveway taken care of, get those garden beds out of there, and I think you're going to be fine. Yeah. He's like, this basement is dry. He's like, there's going to be times where you might get a little bit of seepage. You can smell it, you can feel it, but it's like mitigating it again, understanding what you're getting into before you
that's the most important part.
Yeah. Well, you had mentioned even in one of our last podcasts about just general maintenance and your eaves troughs. Yeah. Right. If your eaves troughs are packed with leaves and dirt and you got things growing out of them, where's that water going?
But also your example of the sump pumps working.
Yeah, right over the edge, right down into your foundation, right down into your.
Where do you think it's going to go? Right?
Yeah.
Well, so many times we get inspections back from the properties, and one of the condition is to push those outlets of the water away from the property.
Yeah,
that's one of the requirements. They have to do it.
Yeah.
Or, stuff like that. So it's knowing what you're getting into.
Well, I mean, I'm a great case study for a lot of this stuff, right? Because as you know, I moved 2 years ago and we've done a lot of fixing and renovations. One of the things we brought up were the downspouts, but they had buried them under the ground and taken them away from the house. It's a great idea. Except, I looked down there one day and I'm like, it's full of water. Why is it full of water, right? Because I'm like, that's weird. So we did some landscaping and excavating, inadvertently, or maybe not, kind of snagged one of the pipes that went on a weird friggin' angle across our yard and pulled it out. There was 12 feet of it. It was just nothing but solid root.
Holy.
12 feet. So I guess some of the plants over a period of time found a crack, got in there. Water supply.
Yeah.
Who knew? Right?
Amazing,
that thing was full and not doing a darn thing. So all the water was doing was just piling up right beside the foundation of the house.
Just about to enter.
But if optically, if you just walked around the property, you'd go, hey, that looks good. It's into a downspout. It's being taken away from the foundation. Nay, my friend. It is being dumped right in here.
See,
right?
I worry about those because if they're clogged, it's the same thing. Like anything can come in there. Like, some leaves get down there.
I'll share two interesting cases with you guys very quickly.
Okay.
You'll sit there and say, what the hell? Really?
Yeah.
So I had one client, this is my own client, called me saying, Jay, I think we have a sewer backup problem. I said, okay.
Ooh.
I'm like, but you're on septic. How would you have a sewer backup problem? So apparently the grandkid came in and flushed a stuffed toy down the toilet.
Oh no.
That got stuck at partway through heading to the septic tank.
Oh no.
And it started
my God.
piling to a point where, boom.
Oh,
Okay, so that's case number one.
boom's not a good one.
No, I don't like boom.
And the same case, they were lucky enough to
Yeah.
find out. But when they actually put the snake camera down there,
Yeah.
the guy was able to clip that stuffed toy and basically pull it back completely. So it was great.
Yeah.
But then while doing it, they said, well, just check the whole line, right? Just make sure it's all nice and clean. So he checks it and he finds a root of a tree.
Yeah.
Almost there on the top of the pipe coming in. So
Yeah.
he goes, in the next 5 years, this is going to come in and block your sewage completely.
Yeah.
They had to dig up and chop that in order to avoid the
Yeah.
next claim happening.
Yep.
So that's for your root thing. And
Yeah.
It's common. It's way more common than you think. And one thing I want to say quickly, because you're also from the Belleville area and, we have rural experience too. I think it was mentioned on our office meeting recently about septic inspections.
Yes.
Did you hear that on Tuesday?
Partially.
So my point in bringing it up is just in our marketplace in Durham, it's not, in fact, I don't think I've ever seen it where somebody puts a condition on septic inspection. Whereas in Belleville, I talked to my buddy Matt, who I'm going to connect you with, and it's
Always.
like, it's common, it's standard, every single deal,
Yeah.
right? And it's just that, like that root could have been there,
Yeah.
10
Nobody
years
would
before.
know.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you know what? My experience with septic inspectors,
But that's what I mean, is you got to have
It's
somebody who's,
competent.
knows well. And typically for us, they pump it and they go, looks good, and they write that on the invoice that's this big, and then that's your kind of like, oh, everything's fine,
Yeah.
right? Because
But-
they didn't point anything out,
But
right?
I don't mind that because I use a very reputable septic pump out
And I agree
company
completely.
in our area where we work, right? And he goes in but he's just looking at the tank and he's looking at when it's full, when it's empty, right? Is it flowing in? Is it flowing out? Is it working? The septic bed, pretty rudimentary system. You can tell that it's working.
Yeah.
I've had an experience with an actual septic inspector. He stood right beside the guy who was pumping out the septic thing, had a camera on a phone, stuck it down there and went, you know what? Everything looks good. He goes, I might just, address the baffle and that's it. You're all good to go.
Wow.
And the septic pump out guy turned to me and looked and he goes, how much do you charge for that? We're like, it's about $450. He goes, I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah.
Because he did like a qualified
Yeah.
septic inspector did the exact same thing the septic pump out guy did.
Yeah.
Right. And it was like, I looked at that and I thought, that's the biggest scam in the world.
Yeah.
Right. I couldn't. Anyways, that's just my rant and beef.
Yeah, but that's what people think when insurance comes in, right? It's the biggest scam in the world. But then when you need it, like, oh shit.
Yeah, everybody wants
Yeah.
it.
And that's just it. And like in these cases we talked about, right? Like those things would have been found, right? And they would have had to be addressed by the seller. Like you'd be, that's what you'd be working into the deal. Right?
But you said someone went down and scoped the line, snaked it, looked at it, and everything else. This inspector
No, but this
didn't even have a
this
camera.
wasn't the septic inspection. This was more to find the clog.
Yeah.
And they needed to have
address
that camera in there to see where the clog was.
But
because their septic tank was far from the property. So they couldn't afford to excavate everything to find. They have to use that camera to see it, right?
But I would expect a septic inspector to be able to at least tell me, coming into the tank, okay, everything's in good health, right? But anyways, that's just my
the
rant
second
on
one
septic.
I wanted to highlight, and this could come in handy for even any rural community as well, not just urban, not just a rural. It's the service lines.
Service lines.
Yeah.
What-
Your natural gas, your
Oh.
water, and your hydro lines.
Okay.
So while they are under your front lawn, they're your responsibility.
Okay.
Okay.
So another case.
Yeah.
Got a beautiful tree planted in the front on the front lawn.
Yeah.
It grew, and eventually one day just hit the gas line.
The treated.
Mm-hmm. The roots went further down to hit the gas line. I don't know how deep they've planted it, but whatever, it happened. And
Wow.
this guy ended up with a bill of still over $15,000 to replace that part of the line because it's under his lawn.
Ooh.
The city doesn't pay for it. Neither does Enbridge. So that being said, I
Tell me
always
insurance
advise
helped.
people.
Yeah.
No, he didn't have that coverage, but
Okay.
then he added after. But everybody should consider getting what they call is a service line coverage,
Yeah.
which costs about $60 a year, and with most companies, it's about $25,000 in coverage. So, any of your service lines are damaged, and the city comes in and does the work and sends you the bill, you can send it over to your insurance company.
So just quickly, because it's in my head, if there's a tree on the boulevard that's owned by the city, and those roots get into your front lawn and affect those lines, it's still you because you own it. It's on your property. Interesting. Hey, good to know. People, you don't think about that.
Yeah, because trees don't know where the boundary is at
that's what I'm
33
saying,
feet
right?
for the road
so
allowance.
It's like, yeah, but it's on the boulevard. The city
Yeah.
owns it. No, but it's you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Good to
no,
know.
and that's one of those things where, as soon as you mention that, I'm like, man, I've got 3 trees in my front yard, and I know where my gas line goes through, and I'm like, I love talking to you, Jay. Sometimes I hate talking to you.
Scare me, Jay.
I'm like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, and like in that, so those coverages, those aren't standard then in typical
No,
policies.
they're add-on coverages, so they won't
Interesting.
just be slapped onto the policy.
And
you need to.
Is there
your
like
broker-
is there like a rough figure yearly that it would be to add something like that on a typical
$60.
policy? Craziness.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you have it?
Yeah, I get, but again, it's not so much that it's the $60, and this is where I find with most people, right? You say it's 50 here, it's 60 there,
it adds
and it's
up.
30 there, and it's
It
20
adds
there.
No, of course.
It does add up. But I'll bet you can find $80 a whole lot faster than you can find 15,000.
Yes.
Again, as I say, put it in the perspective of what is it going to cost? God forbid if it happens, and if it happens in the period of 10 years. Yeah. If it doesn't happen, you've lost $800, but you've had a peace of mind for $25,000 worth of coverage over that 10 years while you paid for it, right? Yeah. Things like this don't happen, but when they happen, it can put a homeowner in a hole that they didn't want to be.
Well, I mean, given how tight economic situations are now, I mean, I would say that if a lot of people got a $25,000 bill, that could potentially put you out of your home.
Game over, yeah.
Right? Like that's a lot of mortgage payments that people are making or can't now make because you've had to fix this.
Yeah.
Or you put it on the credit card, but now you
got to pay at some point.
It's just tough.
Yeah.
So know your choices that you have.
Yeah.
Mostly it won't happen in a new subdivision because it takes a while for these trees to grow and go down and the lines to deteriorate. Yeah. But when you're getting into an older subdivision where the houses were built in 50s and 60s, and it's a beautiful house, it's well maintained. Yeah, you may want to add that coverage because it can come in handy.
Take a look at the trees on the front lawn and make your decision. Right?
Or it's just a deteriorated line.
Yeah, no, exactly. That can happen for sure.
Right? I mean, look at Toronto. How many water main breaks do you get in the wintertime in Toronto?
Yep.
And I didn't understand is a lot of those water lines in Toronto are like 100 years old.
Yep.
Have never been fixed or addressed.
Never. That explains it.
Well, who's gonna pull out the road to fix it?
Yeah.
Until it breaks, they're not gonna touch it.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah. They're mitigating their losses by going, when it breaks, I'll fix it.
Exactly.
Type of thing, right? So
really leave it until then. Right?
Okay. All right. So now that I'm done being scared,
I think you're still scared.
So we're the next one on the list here on the agenda is the type of the key coverage components for investment properties.
Okay.
So as normal, you want your building coverage to be there properly with the proper evaluation done by the broker. If you're renting the entire place out, then obviously your personal contents that is owned by the landlord would be mainly the appliances.
Yeah.
$25,000 for all 5 appliances, and you're good to go. If you give in a furnished place, some people do.
Yeah.
Maybe you need a little more. Fair enough. Calculate accordingly, put it on. The other important one that comes up is the loss of rental income, which we discussed in the previous one as a business interruption.
But still applicable on a personal level?
Absolutely, 100%.
Really?
If it's an income property. You're dependent on that income to pay the mortgage.
And you're qualified because of that.
Yeah, and that's the income generating property. So whatever your rent is, $3,000, $4,000 a month, you put that coverage on policy for yearly basis, let's say $36,000. So for anything associated with the claim where the tenant has to move out until the property gets fixed,
Mhm.
On top of, along with your claim, there will be a line item for the loss of rental income. And
Really?
you will get paid that. So you can continue to pay your bills, your mortgage, and all that stuff while your property is being repaired and getting ready to have your tenant come back in there.
Okay. But let's just be really clear on this.
Mhm.
A tenant moving out because you want to renovate the place for a year
Not covered.
doesn't qualify,
No.
right?
That's not a loss.
Because I could just see people out there going, "Wait a second,
Yeah.
I can
How much
Anything-
has it been? Yeah.
Anything associated with an insurance claim. That's the only time this coverage will trigger.
Gotcha.
It will not trigger otherwise.
So it has to be, let's say, a basement apartment flood. Someone can't get back in for 9 months because you got to redo the lines, redo all the drywall, and it's going to be
Anything.
yeah.
So
Okay,
once
Fire
again-
on the main floor.
Yeah.
gotcha.
Grease fire on the main floor. Did enough smoke damage and all of that stuff, and everybody has to come out because the house needs to be, whatever needs to be done, and drywalls need to be redone, and blah blah blah. Yes, the rental income coverage comes in.
So on that as well, is that typical? If I have a duplex, I'm covering it. Is that income loss always going to be in there, or we have to add that in separately?
Most brokers will add it.
Yeah,
Will
okay.
ask you and add it by
Yeah.
default. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a policy without it. So
Okay. Yeah. No, good to know, right? Remember,
yeah.
we're talking with us, but people
Yeah.
listening are going to be much
right.
yeah,
And then
different
the
level, right?
and normal endorsements come in. Your sewer backup, your overland water, bylaws endorsement, which is becoming more and more critical nowadays.
Okay.
That means, again, if you're into an older home, the bylaws were different when the houses were built. Now, because of the claim, if they have to rebuild a part of it or redo the wiring, they have to follow the new bylaws. So that new electrical will have to follow the new rules to get the electrical certification.
Yeah, again, that's another topic I never even would have thought about. Right? You would just repair it back to the way it was, but that's not the case.
You would, technically, that's what they're doing, but the bylaws required to be followed. And hence they have to do, so there is a separate part of the policy that gives you the added coverage for the bylaws because the claim is $5,000 or $10,000.
Yeah.
But because of the new electrical guideline, now the wire going through has to be two separate ones. Before it was just that one white wire running through the house. Now there's a yellow one going through.
Yeah.
For the 20 amp circuit, you need a yellow one, for example.
Yeah.
Right. Or if it's a 30 amp circuit, you need a pink one, make up a color. Right.
Red.
Yeah, sure. he keeps going back to the Slurpees.
Yeah,
so those added costs were not factored in the original cost. That's where it comes
Gotcha.
out of the bylaw side of it.
Okay.
So those are the endorsements. Short-term rentals. I would really, really like to make sure people understand this. They're not same as the regular rentals.
It must be very important because Jay doesn't talk with his hands,
Yeah.
and he just spoke with his hands.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
Whoa.
Well, because Airbnbs are becoming more and more common.
Yeah.
People tend to do them. It's a good money. It's a good way. But you need to speak to your broker and make sure that the company you are insured with covers short-term rental.
It's a good point.
A lot of companies don't.
Yeah.
And that is basically a condition or a written statement in your policy that if you're doing any short-term rentals, the policy will be null and void.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
you don't want that.
Okay.
So check with your broker if you're doing any of this to make sure that you have proper coverage. Short-term rentals are becoming more and more on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Good source of income for people that have mainly empty nesters whose kids have moved out and the house is big and they've got bedrooms in there.
Yeah.
They say, yeah, you do the short-term rental, come rent a room or rent a basement.
Yeah.
Check with your company.
Yeah.
You don't want to find yourself in a hot spot where, it's not covered. Why? Because we don't cover short-term rentals.
Yep. So go
I
ahead.
have
Go ahead.
Once
Yeah.
again, it just came into my mind as he's speaking here. So if you're regular family and your parents are elderly and they move into your basement,
That's not a short-term rental.
I know, but I just mean like is there anything insurance wise that you would need to let them know about that there's people occupying that space, or is it simply
family.
like it's just a family home?
It's family.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there any gray area with regards to renting, your normal investment property to someone for 3 months versus signing a contract for your typical 12-month lease and then going month to month?
So most companies will ask you, there's a rented dwelling questionnaire that you have to fill out.
Okay.
And if you say that you do not have a signed lease agreement on an annual term, they will look at it differently. So yes, you need to inform that you're going to do a 3-month rental that will still fall under the short term. But if you're doing an yearly rental and then going month to month, that's fine. It's
That's
still
fine.
the same
Okay.
tenant in there.
Yeah, because I know there are people out there that may have an empty basement, and someone needs some help for 3 months. It's a closing, it's whatever it is. Dates don't line up, and they just need somewhere to live for 3 months, and they put them in there and don't even think that they would have to let anybody know.
Yeah,
because it's still just
should.
Yeah.
It's a number of families. There's a field in the personal insurances. How many families live in the household?
Gotcha.
In the building. So
okay.
And then back to my question: as long as it's all one family, even if they're paying you some income, it's still the same because it's family.
I mean, it's family. There's an understanding, right? But it depends on, everybody has a different definition of family. You go into an Indian house, a family is a very big, very broad term.
Large family, yeah.
It's a very broad term.
My mother's sister's brother's son's daughter is living with me. What?
Yeah.
No, that's just too far, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good to specify, man.
And then you've got my white family, which consists of
no sunlight
you
allowed.
can count. Hey, you can't get in on that too.
I wasn't told it was you. I'm outside all the time, man.
I'm outside all the time.
Yeah, we've touched upon a few of these, the next one, but again, location, age, construction, type of property. We had a good chat about, fireplace and the galvanized steel piping and aluminum wiring. All of that is the underwriting factor. Occupancy is where we talked about, right? Is it a student rental? Is it a roomers and boarders? So boarding house. This is a very fine difference. We spoke about this earlier.
Yeah.
If you're renting it to students versus you're renting it to working people. Again, two separate policies. Make sure your broker knows. Student rentals are generally, if they're more than 70% of occupants are students, then they will qualify as a student rental. It's got different wording to it.
Yeah.
If it's less than that, then it will go into boarding house kind of thing where they're all boarding and they're sharing the facilities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some companies don't insure them. So just make sure and again, it's coming back to the material change and risk that we spoke about.
Yeah.
Any change that happens to the location on how it's used, make sure you communicate and then make sure it's done right. Otherwise, it's a rude awakening waiting to happen.
So I just want to add to that quickly, because if you didn't say it there, and I apologize if you did, but if it was a student rental that then became a rooming house, is that typically the same thing? Like the companies might not, like if one's doing the student, they might not insure the boarding.
Yep.
Typically, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so the key is any changes to the risk.
Yeah, I had thought about that too. Is all of a sudden, if a material change triggers a different company.
Yeah, it did. I'm doing it yesterday, as I said. It was it started as a student housing.
Yeah.
And now all of them have graduated.
That's what I was just thinking.
And now I have to move that to a different company because this particular company doesn't do boarding house.
Yeah. But again, that's not someone that has to go out and source that with a different company. You're doing that for them on their behalf.
It will be, in this case, it will be a different company, but I will be finding another company for them.
So someone like me who owns that property, the transition from one to the other is very easy because I call you and I say, hey, this is what's gone on with the property. Can you please suggest the best case scenario for me?
Yep.
And then you take care of it.
That's right.
Okay, fair enough. So
imagine not having him to call. You're just going to call your company and go, I think
this is what's happening. And then all of a sudden you've got nothing. Yeah. Right? Because they're like,
no, you'll have a registered letter of cancellation. We cannot insure you any further.
Yeah. Oh, that's what
I just made a phone call. What did happen?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I've got something, but nothing.
I thought I was doing my due diligence.
I thought I was being candid with my information. Now it's backfired in my face.
No, you're not being candid. You're being canned.
Canned.
You should have said, I don't speak without a lawyer.
All right. Sounds good. So where are we moving on to?
So next one is, I think it's the common risk exposure. We've been talking about it anyway, so there's no point repeating those.
Yeah. Okay. But you've got something in there, though, that I find very interesting. That's something that's not, because this contradicts something that I understand. There's something in there called tenant negligence or intentional damage.
That's not covered in most policies.
Not covered.
Yeah.
So funny story. I have a client who has an investment property and one of the tenants set their carpet on fire. Purposely set it on fire. Like, no, it wasn't like someone dropped it. Like it actually, they set it on fire And when they went, I think they went to the landlord and tenant board, and it was just kind of one of those things. It was like, yeah, I don't know if it was qualified as normal wear and tear, but I'm like, what?
No.
How
Like,
does that?
So
flaming carpet is normal wear and tear.
intentional. Yeah, this is where the fact comes in, that you ask your tenant to carry tenant insurance.
Yeah.
And you ask them to provide you the proof of that at every renewal.
Yeah.
Because
once.
now this tenant became liable for their negligence and their wrongful act, and that will get paid against that from that liability policy will cover the damage to the building. But if you did not enforce that rule, the tenant would not have insurance, and good luck to you getting money.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, and one more. So with the tenant insurance, then those policies, content insurance that a typical tenant would get, does that like cover that scenario?
It's liability.
Yeah, but I mean, the typical policy, it has that already worked into it.
Well,
you wouldn't need to add.
No, it's a tenant's legal liability. It's called, and it comes with it. So you are legally liable for your wrongful action that caused damage to the landlord's property.
I think that would qualify as arson, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Someone setting a carpet on fire?
Yeah.
I mean,
it seems like
okay. So let's say you are the provider for the tenant's content insurance.
No, I don't want to be.
Oh, please. All right. Next.
I refuse.
That was quick.
Yeah. So no, if I was, then, if I get a call, well, obviously the tenants would have to call and say that this is what happened, if the landlords do. As a broker, though, our role when it comes to claim is kind of a little bit limited, because we're not experts in claims. We're experts in underwriting. We're experts in analyzing the risk and putting the right coverages in place. So there's a fine line.
Yeah.
I would never speak from the claim side to the client. What my job would be to take the information down and forward it to the adjuster or the company and have them deal with it. Where my role as a broker comes in is when you call me 20 days, a month after the claim and say, Jay, man, what the hell? I'm not getting any answers. I keep calling. I don't know what's going on with my claim and this and that. I said, okay, Scott, don't worry about it. Don't get yourself in a knot, but let me go and see what's happening. And I will call and say, hey, can I please have status? My client needs to know.
Gotcha.
Right. And then I'll get the status. I'll come back to you and get the claim back on track. That's a broker's role when it comes to claims. Now, the claims will be analyzing the pieces, and those experts will come in and talk about what's the next step at that point, covered, not covered, whatever the case is. But tenants' legal liability, if you are found negligent in an act, that caused damage, it is your liability, and it should trigger. It should trigger. I'm not saying it would trigger. It should trigger. But again, claims beside that.
Yeah, I always thought that was an interesting story. I've always shared that story, kept it in my back pocket. And I was
Good to have those.
Really? Wow. All right. So that covers off that little section and answers a question for me, which has been nagging at the back of my mind.
Finally.
Itch needed to be scratched.
Yeah.
So policy structure and ownership. We did touch upon this one with the DC investments.
Okay.
I think you should register a company.
I like that, actually.
Before it goes away.
I already did it on my phone while we were talking here.
So yes, be careful of the structure and make sure that the policy is covered properly, or the risk is covered properly, rather. Because when it's in the individual name, the personal liability comes in. When it's in the company name, it needs a commercial general liability. Without that, the company is not protected against the lawsuit. So make sure your broker knows, and the broker will be able to help you accordingly.
Okay. Before we jump there, you made just in that comment you made, like with the liability, personal liability versus corporate liability. What's your suggestion to people who own an investment property? Put it into a holding company, so it's a holding company, and you remove that person from the personal liability? Or just keep it in personal and don't worry about it?
So I would suggest that if you're able to, again, this is a question for your estate planning people and accountant that can answer your questions better. But in all logical way, if you were to transfer the risk of any liability arising out of your investment property, then put it in the company name. Let the company deal with it, because God forbid, if the case is bigger, then it gets limited to what company owns. It doesn't spill over to your personal.
Yeah. See, that's what I kind of.
No, that's great.
I always like to say, as long as I'm keeping it separate, then it doesn't spill into my personal so be it. I'll put it in the company name.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fair. No, I appreciate that.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is our, I would say we're close to the end on this one, aren't we?
I know it's pretty quick.
Been moving
Yeah.
through this one nicely.
You haven't seen the timer on my side.
I can see it. I can see it upside down. 49.
96.
Wait
What?
a minute. Can happen. Easy.
Yeah. No, I know. So claims handling,
yeah, we touched upon it. The normal claims handling. When the claim happens, you're obviously as a broker, broker will inform the company. As a client, you should do everything to protect the property from further damage.
Okay.
That should be an instinct reaction.
Yeah, like immediate.
Yeah. So Jay, and just a quick question with regards to timing on claims and stuff like that. So yeah, you're on vacation and you kind of got a notification, and I'll deal with it when I get back. And you're back for a week, and I'll say, I better go over to that investment property and check it out. And 3 weeks later,
that's negligence.
Sorry,
that's negligence.
Okay. Yeah. So that
Straight
does.
up.
So it's
depending on the claim too. Depending on the claim, because your property is already exposed to outside variables that are not supposed to be in there.
Okay.
Especially if it's water. You should immediately, as soon as you're informed, you should trigger the action.
Yeah.
At the very least, call the insurance company.
Yeah.
Assign someone on your side to deal on your behalf and let the people in, because with water, the immediate efforts to reduce the damage are taken care of right away.
Yeah.
Like, example of my house when we had, I had one in Whitby and one in Belleville.
Yeah.
Belleville, luckily, the basement wasn't finished at the time of loss. But we had a weirdest scenario. My water line that was in the garage froze over the winter. You wouldn't imagine inside the garage, behind the insulated wall, it still froze.
Yeah. So
come spring, I'm here starting to wash the garage, taking all the winter grime out of there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is there no pressure in the water? Okay, I don't get pressure. And I'm like, but I hear the water. I'm in the garage. I'm hearing the water. Like, water's gushing somewhere. And my daughter, who's playing in the basement, runs up saying, Daddy, there's water in the basement. I'm like, huh? And I freaking run down, and it's all behind the insulated walls. So I called, the restoration company, and the first thing, the guy looks at me, I know him. So he's like, Jay, are you going through the claim? I said, no, it's not finished. You pay from my pocket. Just come and do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. So within 2 hours, there were 4 guys with the dehumidifiers, fans, and a boatload of garbage bags.
Yeah.
They basically pulled out all the insulation, garbaged everything, took everything out. All the water was taken out. The dehumidifier is running. The fans are running. And they said this is going to run for about 5 to 6 days.
Wow.
And we're going to come back and we're going to test the humidity levels on the wood and all of that stuff. Once everything was deemed to be dry, they redid the insulation in the basement, and then that was it.
Good.
So it's pretty quick. If you don't,
good to know, though.
you are now waiting for the mold to develop.
Yeah.
Other worse things can happen. The disease can come up. So it will fall. And in my opinion, it's a gross negligence. You call me after a week saying, "Oh, a week ago I had a water pipe bust." I'm like, "Too bad, bro. I can't help you."
Yeah.
I'm leaving the country.
That's on you. But there are people out there that don't realize, and that's the reason why I asked the question.
Yeah.
Or they're on vacation and they're gone for an extended period of time, but don't have, like you just said, an agent designated to go back. And I do believe that you have to be present, or you have to go back to the property a certain amount of time, right? You can't just have an insurance policy and then leave for a year. And
no, if you designate someone if you're going to be leaving for a year, if you're that comfortable financially to leave for the year and have fun and your property running, you're going to have a property manager.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Let's be realistic.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. If you're in that kind of financial state, you'll have somebody watching over your property.
Yeah.
So now that person is required to go to the property 2-3 times a year to physically look at it. Anything happens, there will be a point of contact.
Yeah.
Now, let's say in the reverse way that it's your rental property, but you're only gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you don't have anybody designated. right? You have a tenant there, right? But the basement is empty.
Yep.
Let's put a perfect scenario in place. Basement's empty.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
water pipe busted. Water came in the basement. Your sensor triggered that there's some kind of water activity in it. You call your tenant.
Yep.
And say, Mr. Tenant, do you mind doing me a favor? Just take a look in the basement. Do you see water? Yes. Yeah, perfect. Do you mind letting the crew in? Well, perfect. At least for confirming, right?
Yeah. That's true.
I'm going to arrange for the crew to come in and start cleaning up.
Yeah.
Do you mind letting them in?
Yeah.
Through the back door, whatever way.
Yeah.
You have to have a backup plan in place. You cannot own something and just leave it hanging and go for vacation.
Yeah.
It's common sense. You're a business person. I'm a business person. When we go somewhere on vacation, we have a backup in place.
Yep.
Yes,
exactly.
I've cleaned up everything I need. Like this morning, I cleaned up everything. I was working since 5 in the morning.
Yeah, no, you texted me this morning.
Yeah. I texted my guy as well, my account manager, that I'm going to be away. So watch the queues. I'm going to turn off my queue. So I'm not going to get any calls. I had few clients expecting things from me. So I took care of that in the morning. Now, can something unexpected show up on my phone? Yes,
Sure.
Absolutely. Do I have a way to mitigate? I saw calls. They've been coming since the morning I'm here. Some of them, I know what they're calling for. So I'm like, I'm okay. I know what you're calling for. You're picking up a car tomorrow. We'll make sure your car is covered because I'll be back in the office in the afternoon. But you have to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Right. And especially living in Canada, when you leave for vacations in winter, you should always have somebody with access to your own house.
Yeah.
Plus your rentals.
Yeah.
Even if you have to pay them to look at the property, because technically your house, the ones that's going to be empty, needs to be checked every 72 hours.
Every 72 hours?
By someone.
Really?
Yes. And if in the middle of the winter, yes. And you are supposed to drain your water lines if you're going to be away for more than a week or 10 days.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
You should always
Okay,
drain.
Did you know that?
No.
Well,
If we're talking exterior taps, we all know to shut those off for the winter.
I'm talking.
But you're talking inside the home. Yeah.
So
What?
I did not know that.
for example, last year December we went to Kenya as a family. My wife and kids went early, and then me and Tanisha went for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I was technically gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No more than that. But all my water lines were drained. So I shut off the main water. I drain the lines. I leave my taps open so everything drains out. I flush the toilets so there's no water anywhere sitting, collecting. And my neighbor had the keys to the house to check every alternate day to make sure that the house is maintaining the temperature, that my furnace is not dead or knocked out or some shit like that.
What?
Yeah, learning something new, man.
You think?
I love how like dumbfounded you are, like cross-eyed.
I'm either never going on vacation again or I'm never having Jay back on the podcast. One of the two.
I think that
I guess I can't live in ignorance is bliss anymore, right?
No, you have to, because it's your own property. Because we live in a severe weather where the temps can fall down below 20, below 30 sometimes with the wind.
Yeah.
And if you have the water, if your heating shuts off, the first thing's going to happen is your pipes are going to freeze.
Yeah.
And that's a disaster throughout the house. Your house will be completely screwed by the time you come back.
Oh, yeah.
So those are the basic steps you need to take. And if you've done that and then something happens, you're 100% covered.
Yeah,
the company will not turn around and say, sorry, we can't help you. No.
Yeah.
We will. Is you did your part. You were not negligent.
Yeah.
And these things, I tell people every time my client says they're going away, I said, just, even if you're going for a week, drain the water. It doesn't take long.
Yeah.
Shut off the main, run the basement toilet, sink, tap, leave it open. In about 5 minutes, the drains are empty. All the lines are empty in the house.
Such a good.
That is the easiest. Even if the furnace knocks out, it's the easy. It's still okay because it's not going to freeze and burst.
Yeah,
there's no water is the worst enemy when it comes to our country in the cold weather.
Yeah, no, that's true. And you know what? As soon as you were talking about that, I'm like, why the heck would you do that? But I'll guarantee you, everybody that owns a seasonal cottage
absolutely
goes and does the same thing.
Everybody.
That's what I thought of when you first looked at me. I was like, you own a cottage, I thought like that.
Yeah, and I remember doing that because in the springtime, you'd always go back and you'd get the water turned back on again, and you get everything ready, and you do that last turn on, and you wait to hear the hiss. And it's like you'd have someone upstairs, someone downstairs, and you turn the water on. It's like, anybody hear any hissing? No. No hissing? All right. And you turn the rest of, because inevitably you'd get a low spot on a pipe, or you'd get something where water would sit and it would freeze, and all it would do is it would just crease the joint.
Yeah.
And that was enough for it to, or just expand it enough where that was the weak point. So as soon as you put pressure to it, you get the water.
That's literally what happened in the house.
Yeah.
So the pipe from the garage tap was bent. Which way? This is bent inward.
Yeah.
Wasn't level. Then my plumber came and then he fixed it. He goes, Jay, it should be tilting outwards.
Yeah.
So when you drain it, it drains everything. But because it was tilting inwards, it collected on that U.
Yeah. Okay.
And it froze there. And then as soon as I turned on the water, it split.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was frozen sitting there. This is
total
spring.
sense,
Like I turned it on in April, so it quite did not thaw.
Yeah.
But it was right there, and it just boom.
That was enough to do it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. That's why it's such a big thing to think about. It doesn't take a little tiny bit and you're done, right?
Oh, and you want to watch a white guy move real quick? Turn the water back on in the cottage with nobody there and find the hiss or hear the hiss, right? And you're trying to run around trying to find where this hiss is coming from. And it's always the last cupboard door you open, right?
Hang on. Is he trying to say that only white people own cottages?
It might be. No, that's
where are you going with it, man?
Wow, that was, you got there quick.
I was trying to figure, I'm like, where is he going?
Yeah, wait a minute.
I just said a white guy run fast. There was no implication.
All right, cancel it. No.
Oh well, you gotta have fun.
No, I know, and again, you know what? This is a wealth of information because, again, I didn't know probably at least 5 of the things that you just mentioned today.
Let's just say there's going to be a lot of people that are planning trips this winter that might have a different procedure before they go now.
Right. It doesn't take long.
They should.
Yeah.
I do it.
Well, quick story on that, and then we'll wrap up because we had a listing in Ajax in the community outside just where we live now. And I remember sitting down with one of the owners of the house we had listed, and they said that their neighbor went away every year. They would go away to Africa or Vietnam or Thailand or China, wherever it was. And they were always gone for, 3 months. Anyways, they went away this one time, didn't tell anybody that they were going away. And I guess one of the water lines in the basement burst. Water wasn't turned off at the main. So in essence, what happened was their basement just kept filling right up to where it was, like the window, like in the first break they got was like at a window seal. So it filled to there, everything, furnace, electrical. So they left in January. They would always come back in March. How chilly do you think it is in January and February? So everything froze on that top layer in the basement. Like the damage was immense.
No, you got to take it down.
I was just saying,
at that point, the house
that
comes
house
down.
Is ruined.
Yeah, it comes down completely. It goes down to ground zero.
Oh
yeah. So just absolutely ruined because you didn't turn off water.
Did I just prove my point?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it
there
takes
you go.
how many minutes?
Yeah.
Less than 5.
No, less than 5.
But you don't even think about something like a scenario like that playing out.
So my Whitby house.
Perfect storm.
2 Rubin Street.
Yes.
Our favorite place to hang out, where we started the journey, I think. That my basement, same thing. The tap going to the backyard busted. Luckily, my mom was staying with us, and the basement was finished. She was sleeping in the basement, and I just left. This is 5:00 in the morning. Okay, I just left to take Tanisha to my daughter to swim practice. So I'm going from Taunton and Brock down to the pool at Iroquois. Okay, right? Just straight down. And I was supposed to pick up a kid just down the street. So I'm just at that kid's house, and my mom calls. And I'm like, what is she calling at 5:00 in the morning? She's sleeping. I'm like, yeah. She goes, there's a shower in your basement. I'm like, what do you mean shower? There's no bathroom in the basement. There's just a powder room. There's no shower in there. She goes, no. It's like a waterfall from the ceiling. I'm like, you got to be kidding with me. I come home, and I've been it was less than 10 minutes. And I had 3 feet of water filled up in the basement already. 3 feet.
Oh.
3 feet already filled up.
Man.
Within less than 10, maybe 15 minutes tops.
Yeah. So
right.
Imagine 3 months.
Yeah. And then
It's pouring out through you're watering the garden.
and those, they didn't even have like a normal liver. It was just the old one. So I had to actually find a spanner to turn the main off.
Oh my
like
gosh.
a tool. And that took another couple minutes. And then when the insurance company came, they basically chopped 6 feet of drywall all around the basement.
Wow.
Completely taken out all flooring, all furniture, everything out within 48 hours. The whole basement was empty, starting to dry out, and the whole thing was rebuilt after again. So the water can cause ridiculous amount of damage.
Yeah.
Hence,
Yes.
you're supposed to drain your lines, my friend.
There you go.
But you know what I will say?
Not
with the
your lines,
too?
but the lines.
You drain your lines, you've got a bigger problem.
But the one thing to add to that is just it's so
Those
easy.
freeze too, but
But yeah. See, now I feel like what I'm going to say doesn't work. I'm going to say it's too easy. But drain those lines. It is genuinely so easy. Like it doesn't require any special skills, any special tools. It is, like truly, it's just information you need to know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it does have major implications behind it, and it's one of the biggest, I would say, worries. You said, of like living in a northern climate is things freezing.
Yeah. No, and even for me, like I worry, like after my water lines are turned off.
Because
outside,
when the other thing you think of it,
I just don't know.
Our houses that are 2-story homes, when you think of it, if you set your furnace at, let's say, 17 degrees, because you're not going to be there for 2 weeks. 17 is comfortable. It's not freezing. It's way above freezing. Yeah. But when you go upstairs to the bedrooms, those are probably sitting at 14, 15.
Yeah.
Main floor is probably sitting at 17. Basement is sitting even probably a degree higher, right? So God forbid if the furnace cocks out, and if you haven't turned off the water, your first pipe bursting would be on the bedroom bathrooms.
It's gonna go
upstairs very quickly, and that is just gonna. From there, it's
the eternal optimist, Jay Asher.
Thank you.
Thanks for pointing that out.
I can either make it sound really pretty or really honest. I would rather make it honest, because if people are trusting Bricks and Banter, and if you're trusting me to be here, I would rather share the information that can help people. Then to sugarcoat, say, no, it's okay. No, it's not bloody okay. Just do the damn thing. You see, it came back again.
Wait, who was that?
Jay Asher stepped out for a second there.
And Jayesh came in.
So
he just landed at Pearson and drove straight to our office today.
It's too good, man. It's too good.
It's the only place we're ever going to get away with that.
Too good, honestly.
But Jay, again, we appreciate you coming in. A lot of this information, I know we make light of some of it. We've all lived it, but it is important. Like, it is important to understand this stuff. And, spending $50, $60, $70 extra, spending that extra little time saves you potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah. Right. So I think it's amazing. So again, for people that maybe didn't catch the last podcast, we're going to let Jay
my time to shine.
Introduce yourself. And
should I do it in my Indian accent now?
No. Yeah, you take it however you take it.
That's a business decision for you.
I'm going to give you a little bit of music here in the background. So, Jay, thanks for your time. Take it away here. How can people reach out to you?
Thank you very much. This is Jay Asher from Billiard Insurance Group in Belleville, Ontario. I could be reached at www.thebigbelleville.ca or 613-567-3300. And if you can't reach me there, then you can call my cell at 416-902-3897. Thank you very much from the seasoned Jay and from the good old Jay. Thank you very much.
2 guests in one. No, but always, as we say, Jay, thank you so much for joining us. We truly do appreciate it. And we're looking forward to next time.
We will also make sure that Jay's information is put into the notes, the podcast notes. Have a look in there. Read the transcripts if you have a hard time listening to the podcast. But no, this has been great. Thanks very much, Jay. Very insightful. Appreciate your time. You spent a lot of your time with us today.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate it. So,
thank you for having me.
Take care, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening.
See you.